Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for agreeing for the interview for today.
Hey, no problem. It's my pleasure.
I'm so glad that you reached out.
Yeah, I saw a couple of our mutual friends that did it, and that kind of convinced me. People have asked me to kind of do it, and I was kind of on the fence for a little bit because,
What?
well, it's because sometimes you don't always want to talk about your personal experiences,
hmm
and I feel like Monique's last interview kind of struck a chord with me. It's
mm
like she said, don't be afraid to come forward and talk about it. You know, I mean, it's your life and you got to live it.
All right. And it doesn't hurt to share your story because other people can relate to it too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Please, peace and blessings. You're watching That's What's Up with Qiyamah Muhammad. This is a series to showcase the lives of those in the albinism community to share their stories and experiences. We're here with our guest for today, Brother Sean. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yes, peace. My name is Sean Ramsure. I'm a man with ocular albinism, and I was originally born in Boston, Massachusetts. I currently live south in a town called Easton, Massachusetts, and I'm here today to share my story.
Yay, thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much.
Of course.
um, well, to start off, um, how would you say that your parents reacted when you were born, or like, or like what you know what they said?
That's actually a good question. My mother told me that she was surprised with a blessing. I
mm,
think initially they might have been surprised because I looked different when I was born.
mhm,
What's funny about that, they actually got a book published about that, like a small little children's book they receive when you're born. And
mm,
it kind of describes some of the reactions. There were probably 10 to 12 people present at the time of my birth. And I think the circumstance, because I was born on Christmas Eve, so
mhm,
I kind of added to sort of the not strange, but the very different sort of occurrence. You know, I'm black, but I'm born with very white skin. So
right.
it was definitely different, but my mother was very happy that I was born.
It's like I guess you could say it's like you were like the Christmas miracle type.
Yeah, everyone says it all the time. Christmas miracle.
I'm not surprised. I'm not the first one to say it, but
Oh
uh,
yeah.
um, um, well, how would you say that your childhood was like? Would you say that was like difficult or just what was your experience growing up?
Uh, to be perfectly honest, I'd say it was a mix. It was a mixed bag. It
Mm,
was difficult at times, but I tried to make the best of it.
mhm,
A lot of my difficulties were the fact that I had low vision. Sometimes I got teased for having low vision. You know, I didn't always get along with the other kids
mhm,
growing up. Because I was kind of like a very temperamental person, so I was always kind of angry. I'd fight.
mhm,
Um, so I had to kind of keep that in check growing up. But even then, people would call me names, call me white, call me derogatory names. You know, I'm not going to say it happened all the time, but the times that it did happen, it did bother me growing up.
mhm,
And most of that sort of harassing happened, when I was a little kid, preschool, kindergarten, grade school, not really so much middle school because I kind of found a little bit more of my identity
mhm.
during that time. And not so much really during high school, but it did happen. But it was kind of hard, but I made the most of it because my mother and some of my family members instilled confidence in me
Mhm,
and reminded me that I was still a black person. I was African American, or
mhm.
what we call African American. That is.
I can definitely relate to what you said, well, just about the teasing and just the harassment from the other children. Um, um, did your how did um at your teachers how did they like respond to that, or like did they not like intervene in any of it, or
I don't remember my teachers taking part in any of it, but I had teachers that were nice enough to respond to my needs when it came to low vision. Um, if I couldn't see anything, let's say in middle school, if I couldn't see the notes in front of the board, they would give me like I guess you would call it a transcript, and I would try to copy the notes down, or
Mhm,
give me large print so I could try to see it.
mhm,
Um, they tried to help me whenever they could. Elementary school, they tried to. Um, when I got to high school, they tried a little bit with something called Zoom text,
mm,
where if you use a computer, you can magnify the characters. So I used that whenever I used the computer in high school.
mm,
College, believe it or not, I really didn't rely on those things so much because I think I wanted to see if I could be more independent.
mm,
So I kind of made my use without it. But if I couldn't see anything, I would still ask my classmates in college, "Hey,
mhm.
I got these notes. Could I borrow your notes?" And I copied the notes at the end of the class.
Right, so it's like you kinda just made the best of what you had, and, like, you overcame that obstacle a little bit, trying to just see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's still hard seeing certain things. My vision's kind of improved over the years, but
Mm,
that doesn't mean I still don't have my challenges. I mean, I can't. I go to McDonald's or Burger King, and I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm trying to tell the cashier something, and I can't see everything. So I kind of ask them, "Hey, can you tell me what it says here?" Or if I'm next to somebody I know, I tell them, "Hey, what does it say up there? Is that number three? Is that number three combo?" Stuff like that. You know.
that's definitely me, like, every time my family goes out, I'm always asking them, "What does the menu say?" And I already know what I'm gonna get, but it's like, I just can't see what it says, and that's, like, the same thing every time, but I still have to ask.
Yeah, honestly, even with that, what I do if I go to like a pizza restaurant or whatever, if they have a
Mm,
menu, I grab it, look at it for like a minute, then I like make a order if I can't see the menu, on the board up there.
mhm. Yeah, I definitely relate to that.
Oh yeah.
So one question, do you have any siblings?
I have one brother,
Mm.
and he's technically my half brother, but he's still my brother regardless. He's younger than me by about 8 years.
Oh, so, how would you say y'all relationship is like? Like, y'all connect a lot?
We do. We get under each other's skin a lot. I do it on purpose with him because he's younger. Sometimes he does it with me purposely, but for the most part, we get along.
So,
He's Oh,
oh,
by the way, before you continue, sorry,
go
I'm
ahead.
uh, I'm 27 and he just turned 20.
Oh, so, okay. Alright. Um, so he's not albino, is he?
No, no, he's caramel complected.
Okay. Um, did how well, I'm not gonna say how did he react to you being albino, but, did y'all, like, ever talk about your albinism or anything?
I talk with him about it whenever he's curious, so whenever he wants to know about it.
Mhm,
Um, he stood up for me or felt some type of way in public. I'd find out later on when if we would take the subway into the city,
Mhm.
people would kind of give me stares. I wouldn't necessarily notice them at the time, but he would see it. He would feel some type of way about that, like a lot of my friends would, or my
Mhm.
family. But he, just like my immediate family, kind of understand what I go through to some extent. Maybe not completely, because they don't really have the vision problems associated with it,
Mhm.
or dealing with the sun. But because I try to inform them, they try to understand as much as possible.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Of course, just growing up being albino in a more melanated family.
So, yeah, that's the common struggle right there. It's like
Mhm.
you look different. Everyone's darker complected, and then you kind of stand out. You know,
Mhm. So, um, well, you mentioned your immediate family, but your other family members, do you know, if you have any other family members that are albino?
honestly, I've really wondered that for a while. I
Mm,
want to say yeah, no. I
mm,
thought so. Here's why I say that. So 12 years ago, I had a conversation with my grandfather, and he
mhm,
mentioned his birth father was West Indian.
mm,
He kind of made a joke one time to my cousin and said, "He's as light as him." He was talking about me, right?
mm,
So I'm thinking, wait, he was either really fair skinned or he may have had albinism.
mhm.
But I haven't really looked further into it. But as far as I can tell, I might be the only person with albinism in my family's history.
Mm. Do you think you're going to like dig more into that, or like you're just gonna leave it be?
Um, I mean, I could talk to my grandfather about it. He it might be somewhat of a touchy subject with him, just a little bit.
Mm,
Not my albinism, but his deeper family history.
right.
So I can look into it. You know, but I'm for sure I might be the only one in my family.
So how does that make you feel? Just knowing that, like you're like one of a kind that you know.
Um, well, I'd say growing up, I felt really different,
Mm,
and I didn't always feel good about it because, like, growing up, you're told you're beautiful by your family, but
mhm,
a lot of the outside world didn't feel the same way. And what kind of made it a little challenging was because not only just having albinism, I'm also black. I'm also like a mixed race.
mm,
So that kind of extended to my hair type being mostly straight.
mhm,
So that kind of made things a little, I had to question myself a little bit sometimes. I looked kind of like really white.
right.
And a lot of people would say that. And I didn't really feel the confidence in myself until I grew later past my preteen years and
Mm,
into my young adult years. And my confidence, knowing that I was one of a kind, skyrocketed when I met people with albinism and interacted with a lot of people with albinism. Facebook kind of really opened the door for me for that because I get to interact with so many amazing people.
mm,
They kind of remind me, wow, we're really one of a kind. We're not just, well, we are one in a million, but we're one in a million in like a really great way.
mm. So you said that your confidence skyrocketed. Um, would who well apart from your family, who helped you like gain the confidence? Like, was was it just like you thinking, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna think about what others are saying about me, gonna take what my family said, or like what helped you gain your confidence?
Um, well, before I met other people like, online with albinism,
Mhm,
I would say, just having more self-confidence in high school kind of helped me. I took part in more activities, I took part in sports, you know. I tried to form my career goals at the time.
Mm,
And, even then it was kind of hard because, when you're in high school, you don't know what you want to do. And I wasn't sure if I'd really do something productive because of my vision problems. But, I was relatively confident, but not where I wanted to be confidence wise until I met other people with albinism online.
mm,
I see them driving cars, owning businesses, being models, being school teachers, being teachers in general,
mhm,
um, being legends, being beauty influencers, some of them even athletes.
mhm,
Like seeing stuff like that, that let me know, I'm not just in a set aside box where people believe I can't do nothing. I can actually do something, you know?
mhm, mhm.
And that really kind of helped my confidence, let's say by the time I entered college
Right.
up until now.
Yeah, so it's like just seeing other people like you doing other things like, "Hey, I can do that too," or like, "I don't have to not do something that I think I can't do." So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even with that, I've learned that, if you want to take a chance with something, just go ahead and do it. Even if you think you have restrictions, it doesn't hurt to try. I've even known other people with disabilities per se, vision related. They did the impossible, you know.
Mhm,
And even with other people with albinism, they're doing the impossible. And really analyzing and seeing their success stories, that gives me hope for myself and other people around me. I feel like I can excel in my life seeing what other people are doing because it kind of reminds me, hey, you know, you can do something great and productive. We're all kind of like a real community. We succeed when we all succeed,
right. Yeah.
and I like seeing that.
Yeah, that is such a great thing to see just in general, like, it doesn't have not not saying, like, not individual, but it's just a good thing to see. It's like you're seeing yourself and them doing what they're doing to succeed.
That's a great way to put it. It's all like a collective type of feeling.
Right. Mhm,
When one person does well, I think we all do well.
mhm. You meant you mentioned the Facebook groups. You remember when was the first time that you met another person with albinism?
In person or online.
It could be either or, like or both if you wanna wanna share.
Yeah, I'll give you both. The first person with albinism I met was back in middle school, seventh grade year. She was Puerto Rican with albinism, and we met because the teachers put us together to kind of talk about, I guess, the squash program. I guess it's like a sport that you do in the summer.
Mm,
And she kind of gave me pamphlets to do that. We didn't really get to interact like I wanted to, because I really did. I don't think she wanted to that much, but that was the first person I met with albinism in person. Online, um, I don't know if you remember her. Her name is Kenosha Robinson.
I think that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
So at the time, I guess she was a law student and she was a model.
Mm,
And I had heard about her story through the internet, and I wanted to like see if she was online and wanted to be friends. And I met her virtually in 2010,
mhm,
and it was cool. Now, outside of her, I didn't meet other people until like 2012.
mm,
That's when I really got to understand our community in depth. And some of them actually are smart enough. They self-diagnosed my albinism too, better than my eye doctors could. So I'm very thankful that to have that larger community a part of my life because they kind of helped me understand myself better than other people can.
mhm. Yeah, it's like they can like what we were saying before is like see themselves in you, so it's like they can basically just see what's going on.
Yeah, they honestly. But I feel like with some of the people I know, we kind of know what we go through even without vocalizing it.
Mhm,
And to me, that's really deep. Like you kind of know what someone's going through
mhm,
even without saying it, and you kind of know how to help somebody.
right.
And while we can't always help everybody, because sometimes our stories are kind of different,
Mhm.
we all kind of have a common bond, whether we're black with albinism or white with albinism, Asian with albinism. It's all kind of like I don't want to call it a struggle, but there's definitely a bond somewhere in between all that.
It's like just a universal experience.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. What do you do for a living? I guess I should start on it.
Well, I have a full-time job as an office engineer, and that's kind of like a fancy title for a person that works in the office and makes reports for a consulting company. I
Mhm.
do that full time. Part time, I own and operate a moving company in Boston,
Oh, you
and
said a what company?
a moving company.
Oh, moving company. Got you.
Yep. Ramsure Movers, that's the name of it.
Nice. How would you say that your um albinism um what's the word, like, influences your work?
I'd say it still does because when I get a new job, I don't always let them know about my vision impairments until I'm like settled into it.
Mhm,
It's the same thing happened with my office job, but I use whatever I can to make my job easier. If the print is small on a computer, I try to zoom it up on a laptop or a desktop.
mhm,
Um, Outside of that, let's say the moving experience with my moving company, I'm not always going to see the exact measurements, but I am a skilled technician when it
mhm.
comes to taking apart furniture. If I don't see something right away, I have my employees kind of assist me with taking apart furniture or seeing different angles with something.
Mhm.
So if it's like really small print or really small details, I'm not afraid to really ask for help. Let's
Right.
say I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's
Well, no,
that's kind of what I
you did a
deal
good
with.
job. Um, so it's basically like you can see the bigger picture, but it's like just the smaller, like intricate details, like that's
Yeah,
basically the main, not hardship, but obstacle that's there.
yeah, and that's the funny thing too. I try not to let my customers know that too when I'm doing moving jobs. I let my employees know that. I try not to let my customers know that because
Mhm,
it's very stressful in that situation where you're getting paid to do something and
mhm,
they're kind of forming opinions about you while you're doing your job.
mhm.
So you want to try to make sure they don't think some type of way about you while you're doing something.
Right, right. Um, so you mentioned being of mixed race. Um,
Yes.
how would you say that um like affected you, or like were you treated any differently because you were excuse me.
A lot of people would assume I was mixed race. Not really when I was growing up as a child,
Mhm,
but growing older, they would kind of think I was, Puerto Rican or Dominican or Cape Verdean or maybe even Italian. But to kind of understand to set it straight, so I'm black and Egyptian. My
mhm,
biological mother is black. My biological father is Egyptian. He was Greek and Arab from Egypt. So
mhm,
that kind of makes me mixed race. Um, but it's funny because I don't really identify with the Egyptian side, just because I don't feel like a real connection to it.
mhm.
I feel more connected to my black side than anything because I feel that's a dominant feature. Like some
Right.
people, I've even heard people say they already knew I was black just by looking at my face. I'm like,
Right.
thanks. Um, but some people have said, that I should understand like more mixed race struggles because of mixed race. And my only response to people that have said that, I said, I don't necessarily feel special being mixed race. I feel like I'm another black person that has mixed heritage.
Mhm.
So I identify more with the black struggle more than anything because that's kind of defined me most of my life.
Right. It's like you're a black male growing up in America. So that's like the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
struggles
Plus,
that you know.
I mean, the country kind of won't let me forget about that. So it's like it's kind of a part of me. I mean, it's always gonna be a part of me.
Um, well, thank you for telling me about that. um, so we talked about a few things, but you have any like memorable stories that you like to share?
I have two, and I would say memorable in the sense that they involve meeting other people with albinism.
Mm,
I met my very first person from our mutual friends list in person back in March of 2019 when I took a trip to New York City to spend a weekend.
mhm,
And I met, um, her name is Jennifer Renee,
mm,
and we just happened to meet at a McDonald's, excuse me, a Popeyes in Queens. And to me, it was really cool because I don't really get an opportunity to really meet other people with albinism, let alone mutual friends on Facebook.
mhm,
And I don't know if they know this. To me, that was really special. We vibed and connected. We had a good time. I met another person that same day, Devin Bullock, and we all had a good time. Just hanging out in New York, just
mm,
sharing our stories, being funny. Me being silly, mind you, I was being really silly, you know, but that's kind of how I feel when I meet new people. I love to set a good, impression.
mm,
And it was good to meet people that I've had this idea of meeting for so long, and I finally got to do it. And the second story, similar situation. I had a friend named Mike Bell from
mm,
Florida, and he was someone I always looked up to because he's done a lot of career things, drive, run a family, raise a family, get married.
mhm,
I think marry another woman with albinism and have children. And he told me, "Hey, I'm gonna be in New York City." I'm like, "Cool, let me know." And I meet him, and I meet another person with albinism, and we I'm not gonna say what we did that night, but we had a wonderful night, and
mhm.
it was crazy. It took me 8 years to meet, someone I had a lot of respect for, and I kind of let him know, "Hey, the love's still there, man," you know. And I guess he told me if I want to go down to his house in Florida, his house is open. So to me, those two are kind of watershed moments for me because it's people I respect. I
Mhm.
respect all people with albinism regardless, but it's always surreal when you meet people you see on a screen and then you meet them in person and chill. It's like, how did I get here?
Right.
You ask that question. It's like, oh, now I remember. It's like, wow, that was beautiful.
Right. I can relate to that. Like, I'm not sure if you saw my interview with Joshua Centron.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was like that with me, for me with him and with Monique from Chicago. It was like with like that with both of them. It was just such a surreal experience. Just to see someone not just that looks like you, but just they can understand what you're going through, and it was just good moments that'll be in your mind.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I look at it like this too. It's like you're meeting and interacting with someone that you can consider like an extended family member.
Hmm.
never mind just a friend. The way we kind of understand each other. It's like, so we're like brothers and sisters, basically.
Exactly. It's just a whole family.
Oh yeah.
This to backtrack just a bit with your work. How did you get interested in doing what you do?
um, I'm trying to think. So I can speak on my office job. So as an office engineer, I make reports for a company that handles diversity issues in construction.
Mm,
I was interested in that because I wanted a career after college that handled like data analysis because that was a skill I was trying to get heavy into when I was a senior in college. Um, it was a relatively good job. I'm actually in the process of actually leaving that current job and
mm,
making my moving company full time. Now, moving, that's a deeper story. So when I was a junior in college, I wanted to make money on the side. So I decided to do moving jobs. You're familiar with Craigslist, right?
Craigslist, yes.
Yeah, so I would post ads on Craigslist and people would look for moving help and I would make 25, $50, $100, $200 sometimes $500.
Mm,
And me and my friends would just go and help people unload and load their trucks. And I realized I really like doing this because I'm active. It keeps me in shape
right.
and I get to solve problems, use my hands and travel. Even if it's not across the state, it's to another city
Mhm,
and I get to develop a rapport. During that time in college, I decided to make my moving company a part of my business plan.
mm,
And it took me maybe 3 years later after I graduated college to really turn that into a real business.
mm,
And I like my moving job better than I like my office work because I'm more engaged with people and I
mhm,
like to stay in shape. Um, I'm hoping maybe in the next 5 years, my moving company can be the biggest in Massachusetts. It's a tall order because you have 1,000 competitors that offer the same thing.
mhm.
But I think what separates me is I offer a good service and I try my best to do right by my customers.
Uh, Well, hopefully in the next 5 years, I'll be saying that you're the biggest moving company in Massachusetts.
Hey, whatever endorsement I can get, that's all that matters. I enjoyed
Yeah, so shout out to your moving company.
it. Thank you, thank you.
Alright, um, are there any words that you'd like to share for just others in the albinism community?
Um, I would say in regards to being who you are, I'd say be who you are to the fullest. If you have an interest in a hobby, do it. If you're a family person, keep on raising your family, raise your kids, be there for your children, whether you're a father or a mother. Um, and I'd say in terms of, just speaking about it, about, albinism as a condition in your life, don't be afraid to just come forward and talk about it. I didn't gain the real confidence to even speak about it probably until this year, you know, and that started from a series of just, doing web video calls with all our mutual friends. I'm like, you know what? This is kind of therapeutic for me because I get to open up with people that go through what I go through. And plus, I'm reaching out to yourself. So we kind of go through the same things. And I had a lot of respect for your platform anyway to begin with.
Thank you.
Of course. I would say to everyone else, join this platform and all the other platforms out there. And, we're all big one family, each one teach one.
Right. That some good words. It's
Thank you. Thank you.
um, it's like, and it's like to the others, just don't be afraid to reach out. Um, because you're going to find someone that has the same experiences as you, or at least something similar if it's not exactly the same thing. Because we kind of go through all of the same things, just low vision in school, just maybe, perhaps, like the teasing and just being different and unique.
Yeah, even then, even if there are people that maybe can't identify with the same issues, share your positive stories. Tell people that you own a business, you work with kids, you do beauty and fashion. People want to hear about that. That sets you kind of far when you let people know, hey, I'm not just a person in the background. I'm a person with all these passions, and there's nothing wrong with sharing them.
So, I hope people can take that to heart. So I'll definitely be taking that to heart. I always take whatever, um, like all of my interviewees take I take that to heart, their words, because I can also grow from everything that y'all say. Just I love I love just connecting with y'all and having y'all share y'all stories. And
Yeah, definitely.
thank you once again for reaching out to me. Um, how how is it important for you to be on this show? Thank you.
I would say it's very important. I wanted to I wanted to try a new experience and be a part of an online platform and just share it. I've known about your platform for some time. I don't think I had the real courage to really do it at the time, because it's not always easy. Even talking to other friends, I could see some people kind of have the anxiety and that sort of lock and key about doing that. And a part of me still kind of feels like that to an extent, but it took me a while to this year to really realize, I still have a family and all of y'all. And, it's important that we can share it. Plus, I like to support whatever our brothers and sisters are doing, like yourself, because you guys do a lot of great work, you yourself included. So I have a lot of respect for what you do. And I felt this would be a good platform to do it.
Thank you for your words. That means a lot.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
So I'm just glad to once again just have everyone share their stories and um, oh that this will help others to come out and um, have that confidence to also just come out and share their stories and
Oh, yeah.
experiences. So if there's any links or websites that you'd like to shout out, we can put that in the description so people can follow you. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, of course. Follow my moving company, Ramsure Movers. Um, Follow it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Um, you can reach out to me directly. Um, and yeah, I mean, if people want to reach out, Sean Ramsure on Facebook. And yeah, just whatever you got, whatever you want, I have it.
And if you don't mind spelling it out, so we could put that out.
Yeah, that's so Sean is SEAN, Ramsure is RAMSURE. You type in that, Ramsure Movers could come up.
Hey, thanks so much. Everybody go follow him so he can be the biggest moving company in Massachusetts. Get that.
Yep, yep.
Go and get that for you.
There you go. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. I can't express how much I'm thanking you, but uh, um, and if there's any last words, I I don't think we did. I think we did that already, but if there's any last words you'd like to share, um,
I would say stay safe, Wash your hands. Um, enjoy the holidays coming up, and just if you have something fun you like to do, hey, do it. If you have friends and family you haven't talked to, talk to them. If you have friends, reach out and just just do you. Be you.
Right. That's good word. Just be you. All right. This is Qiyamah Muhammad. You just watched That's What's Up. Thank you for watching. See you next time.